While streaming over on Twitch, which you can check out down below in the description, we designed a very intriguing tactic. It's a 4-2-3-1 of some sorts, but instead of having two attacking wingers, we just have the one whilst the other is with the midfield. As you can see behind me, we have a flat back four, a midfield three, attacking midfielder, a right winger, and a striker. It's very intriguing. It produced some great results with Vitória over in Portugal. And before we get into the mechanics of this fantastic tactic, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like this video, you can share it as well, but the like is so important. It helps the algorithm and it helps the channel grow, so that would be appreciated. Also, if you enjoy watching free football or just like looking at football stats and news, this app is for you. OneFootball and the RDF Tactics channel have chosen to collab once again. Downloading this app would help this channel out in many ways, but why exactly should you download it? The OneFootball app is an excellent app for football fans. It's the best place to check recent news, legally watch matches, yes, for free, and you can follow your team and be notified when something major happens. It's also great to check out the latest transfer rumours, and if you're like me, you don't want to miss out on any rumours. Transfer season can be fun. Once all the league starts up as well, it's a great app to check statistics. This channel creates recreations. Using the OneFootball app helps grab vital stats, but also you will have access to team lineups before the football match starts. This is a great app if you want to follow football around the world or get the latest news just on your team. So make sure you try it out, but it does also help this channel out a lot and gives it many great opportunities to grow. So give it a go and I promise you won't regret it. So, like many of my tactics, we wanted to build something positive, something that's going to put us on the front foot, attacking, score goals, and win games. So, what we wanted to do is cover all 5 vertical channels. So, that's something that I spoke over on Twitch. We wanted to cover all 5 vertical channels, which makes it very difficult for the defending team to defend against. And how we achieve this in the 4-2-3-1 is kind of different to how it would typically be done. So in a typical 4-2-3-1, you would have your 2 fullbacks getting up the field, and then you would have your 2 attacking wide men come inside to operate in those half spaces. There you have the half space, the wider flanks covered, and in the middle section you can have your attacking midfielder and your number 9 occupying that central channel. But we wanted something different, something a little bit more unpredictable, and we wanted to have some nice movements and interchanging all over the pitch. So how do we achieve occupying all 5 vertical channels? It's fairly simple. So for the right flank, we have the right back occupying this right flank. So he's of course going to get further forward, whilst we have the inverted winger come inside to occupy that half space. So on the right, we have the right flank covered, and now we have the right half space covered. Over on the left, we just have the typical winger that gets up and down that left flank, whilst we have the inverted wing back coming inside. But he's not going to occupy the half space in the advanced areas. Instead, we do have the Mazzala in midfield who's going to be shifting out wide, and there you can see that we have the inverted winger that's going to come inside, and we have our central midfielder on defend, kind of being our rest defense. So if we lose the ball up the field, we still have the central midfielder on the defensive duty, and we have the inverted wing back in those central areas trying to stop those counter attacks from happening. So our attacking shape, it could look something like this, but how we get there isn't the typical movements of your wing backs just getting further forward, your 2 wide men coming inside. With this tactic, you may notice we have some areas of weaknesses. So if we do attack, the opponents can hit us on the flanks, which was happening a lot in our stream as well. We was getting hit on the break a lot, but what we found out is man marking really helps. So when we do break and we do defend, your right back, because he's a defender, he is going to be looking to get back in his defensive shape anyway. But your right winger, he hardly tracks back. He wasn't doing any tracking back. So what we got him to do is to man mark the opponent's left-sided fullback or wing back. If they're playing a 3 at the back, then it's the left wing back. If it's a 4 at the back, then it's the left back. And it was fairly similar for the left side as well. When defending, your left back automatically is going to try and get back into that back 4. But your left winger may be a little hesitant in getting back, and this depends. If your opposition are very good, if they got very good attacking fullbacks, then you also want your left winger to be man marking the right back or the right wing back. But if you look at their opponents and they're not much of a threat, then the left side doesn't really matter. But it is vital that your right winger is man marking the opponent's right back or their right wing back in order to have some kind of defensive stability. And the tactic doesn't come with many in possession instructions. Really, all we want from the team is to try and dominate possession. Try is not very important, but we do want some possession. Most important though, we want to play with a very, very high tempo. With this type of movement, occupying the 5 vertical channels, if you can move the ball at speed as well, then you do become a very dangerous team. Out of possession is the typical counter press, try and win the ball back as soon as possible, defend high and press the opponents, squeeze them, try and not give them too much time on the ball for them to create some attacking opportunities. But for now, what we are going to do is go into Football Manager, have a look at this tactic. We're going to have a look at some of the results as well. I didn't have to test this as we already played it with Vitória over in Portugal, so we can see the results of the stream. But enough of me talking, I'm talking way too much here. Let's go into Football Manager and have a look at this fantastic that we created in our stream. So now let's go to Football Manager. So here is the tactic. It's a 4-2-3-1 of some sorts, asymmetric, or you can call it a 4-4-1-1 asymmetric as well. If you just look over on the right here with the average rating, I mean, it's looking fantastic. We are doing absolutely brilliant in our 3rd season at the moment. But if we check some of the results, let's go to the competitions, Liga, the stages, the 1st season. As you can see, we played 34, same as Benfica, of course. We both won 26, we both drew 4, and we both lost 4 as well. They scored 80, we scored 78, we both conceded 27, that was the only difference. They scored 80 and we only scored 78, we both had the points tally of 82. Vitória in the 1st season are predicted to finish 5th, so we done very, very well, getting, well, joint 1st basically. In the 2nd season though, we did win the season or the title. We played 34, we won 28, drew 3, lost 3, so we did improve from the 1st season and we had a points tally of 87. 3rd season, we've played 9, we've won 9, we've scored 29, and we've only conceded 5 with a points tally of 27. So the 3rd season is going absolutely well. If we check as well the results, we just played Manchester City, which was probably the best performance of this tactic so far. So we played Manchester City at home, we smashed them 5-0. As you can see, every single player on the pitch had a very good game. Marcus Edwards scored a penalty, Pedro Porro, who's actually on loan for Manchester City, scored a goal. Or 2, I can't remember. He scored 2 actually. Esposito as well. He's been fantastic for us. He was on loan, but we did manage to sign him for £12 million. A very good signing. But lastly, again, before we look at the tactic, I'm so sorry for all this talking, but I just want you guys to see how well this tactic was performing. If you look at the squad, we don't really have any superstars. Yes, we have some decent players. Marcus Edwards, Ibrahima Konate for this season. We didn't have him last season, of course. Now we have Pedro Porro. But the team, the squad, they aren't the greatest of players, and we aren't really trying to just go out there and sign the best players. We do want good players, but we also want some very cheap ones. Just like this Marcus Ayomide, he's not very good at all. Look at his attributes, he's not great, but we used the data. He was very good with the data. We signed him. He's played 14 games for us. He scored 6, got 2 assists with the average rating of 7.25. You might have not taken a gamble with this player, but we did. We signed him for £350,000. And he looks to be a decent signing. I mean, we can sell him and make profit, but let's talk about the tactic, or let's look at the tactic, sorry. So this is the tactic shape for the instructions. Like I said, in possession, we don't really have many instructions. We want to play out from the defense. We want to move the ball with an extremely high tempo. And in the final third, we will be sending in our low crosses. But those 3 are only the team instructions that we have in possession. In transition, when possession has been lost, we are going to counter press the opposition, and when the possession has been lost, we will counter as well. When the goalkeeper is in possession of the ball, he will look to distribute it to the fullback, but there are tweaks that you need to make during the games. Well, you don't really need to make them. If you watch me in streams, I just make them regardless. It's a nice way to kill games, and it's a nice way to keep a clean sheet if that's what you want. You don't have to change much, but what you can change is your tempo. When you are in the 80th minute or the 75th minute and you've got the game in the bag, you can move the tempo to slightly lower. In transition, remove the counter movements, and out of position, remove prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now, I might just save this and upload 2 tactics so you have the original and you have this kind of save time or keep a clean sheet tactic. So that is the tweaks that you need to make in game, or you can make in order just to keep those 3 points in the bag. I use it literally in almost every game when we are winning, so it's something that you should be looking to use as well. Out of possession for the defensive shape, we are going to be using the offside trap, the much higher line of engagement, the higher defensive line. The defensive width is set to standard, the pressing intensity is set to more urgent, and we are preventing that short goalkeeper distribution. In goal, we do have the sweeper keeper. He's going to be taking fewer risks. At left back, it's the inverted wing back with the supportive duty. He's going to be shooting less, tackling harder, and marking tighter. For the right back, he's the wing back with support. He's going to be crossing from the byline, shooting less often, tackling harder, and marking tighter. In central defense, we have 2 ball playing defenders with identical instructions, which are dribble more and stay wider, which helps with our build-up play. In midfield, on the left, we have a winger under attacking duty. He's going to be tackling harder and marking tighter. In central midfield, we have the Mazzala on support. He's going to be dribbling more, shooting less often, tackling harder and marking tighter as well. His midfield partner is the central midfielder on defensive duty. He's going to be shooting less, tackling harder and marking tighter. Something interesting about this role, which I spoke about in the stream as well, this proves you don't really need to have a defensive playmaker or a deep line playmaker in your side. You can just have the central midfielder with the defensive duty who does a similar job, but he doesn't have that expansive passing range. So he is going to be trying to dictate your tempo, but he's not going to be trying those longer balls and hitting the balls out long and wide to the flanks. Instead, he's just going to be dictating your tempo, but playing those short passes circulating the possession. Out on the right flank, we do have the inverted winger on the attacking duty. He's going to be roaming from his position, tackling harder, marking tighter, but also mark that specific player. Like I said before in the tactic description, you want him marking the left back or the left wing back. In this case, in our next game, it would be Kaju, the left wing back for that side. In attacking midfield, we have the shadow striker on the attacking duty who's going to be tackling harder and marking tighter. Lastly, up top, he's got the same instructions, but he's the advanced forward on the attacking duty, which you can't even change that. But that there wraps up the tactic. This tactic, I'm telling you, trust me, it's a very good one. Probably one of the most fun I had as well, especially now that I'm streaming. Again, if I haven't said it before, make sure you check it out. It's a very fun stream. We're trying to bring Vitoria to the top, the extreme top, make them an elite side. It's going well so far. But let's look at the results. As you saw some of the results from the last season, we did win the league last season and we are only 9 games in this season. But as you can see, we scored the most goals with 29. We've had the most shots for, the fewest shots against. I mean, the gap with the shots for is huge. We almost have 200 shots while the team in second are on 145. For the best pass completion, we are 8th with 87%. But for the average possession, we are, well, joint top, I can say, with 57%. For the most tackles won, we aren't in the top 8. Most dribbles made, we are 4th with 31. Clean sheets, we are joint 5th with 4th. And for the fewest conceded, we are 2nd with 5. If we look at the player stats as well, the right winger Marcus Edwards, he scored 6 goals. For the most assists, we have Rafa Suarez, who's been very good for us. We have Marcus Edwards and Pedro Porro all on 4. For the most shots, surprise, Ibrahima Konate. That is likely to be from corners. For some reason, this tactic gets many corners. And for the most man of the match awards, we have Esposito. Most key passes, Rafa Suarez is on the list, Pedro Porro and Marcus Edwards. Best pass completion, nobody there. Most tackles won, nobody there. Most dribbles made though, we do have Marcus Ayomide on 10. He's been a very decent signing for us, and Marcus Edwards on 8. But that there is the team stats. And we could just look at some of the team report stuff as well, like being aggressive and clinical with our attacking efficiency. But I know I said I didn't need to test this, I really didn't, But what I did do is made a save with Atalanta just to test it out, see how well it did. So we'll load it up and check some results, because even with Atalanta, we have some great results. So if we go to the schedule, the very first Serie A game, we smashed Juve 6-1 at home. Zapata scoring a hat-trick, but we absolutely smashed them. We beat Inter away the very next game as well in the Serie A before beating Bologna 2-0, Udinese 2-0. We smashed Napoli 4-1 in Serie A, and we also beat Cagliari 1-0 away from home. In the Champions League, it's going alright as well. As you can see for the squad, we played the B team, but we got a draw against Shakhtar, and we beat Villarreal away from home 2-1, which is a very good result with the B side. So as you can see, the tactic is doing very well, and I hope you guys have fun with it. Before we end this video, I will load up the Vittoria save again, and we can watch the highlights or the goals from the Manchester City game. So let's head into that game. So here we are in the Manchester City game, and another tip as well that I should have said when describing this tactic: when you are playing against these sort of sides like a Manchester City, it's not a bad idea to actually play 2 left backs and 2 right backs on the pitch. So as you can see, we have Bajorkan at left back and Rafa Suarez as the left midfielder, both of whom are natural left backs. And on the right side, we have Pedro Porro on the attacking midfield position on the right side, and Sacco at right back. Again, both are natural right backs. But let's watch these goals and let's see the fun that we had against Manchester City. So the first goal was fairly boring. It was a penalty. It was a nicely finished penalty as well. The second goal, I think it came from a corner, and we just picked up the ball from the edge of the box. Pedro Porro working nicely to get in the box and putting the ball in the back of the net. 2-0 to Vittoria. The third goal was a corner, I believe. Yes, it was. Berikovic getting that goal for Vittoria. And here is the fourth goal. Some nice football with Sacco there. Pedro Porro on the right side. And as you can see there, let me just go back before it skips. So now when we are talking about covering all 5 vertical channels, this screenshot here, this still here, is a very good opportunity to see what is happening. Pedro Porro is making that move inside that right half space, proven to be very difficult to defend against. So as he's getting the ball, he has to play inside, and it's just very difficult for the opposing team to defend against, because it leaves one of those players free. In that case, it was the right wing back, Sacco. Here's another goal, a counter-attacking goal. Esposito on the ball, playing it across to Pedro Porro, and he finishes it back post. 5-0 to Vittoria against Manchester City. And if we watch another game as well, this victory was 4-1 away against Moreirense, a team that actually smashed us last season as well. So we were looking for some revenge, and boy did we get our revenge. But we can look at some of the goals as we scored some nicely worked goals in this game as well. But the first goal comes from corners, which was a big headache from the second season. We didn't score many, but it's nice to know that we are scoring a lot in the third season. The third goal, or the second goal, sorry, was a ball down the flank to Esposito. He cuts it in for Marcus Amiode, and he scores the second goal for Vittoria. The third goal, Gustavo's on the ball, playmaking as well. He is the playmaker. As you can see here, let me go back. Sorry, I keep pausing. I do this on my stream as well. I'll pause as you guys can see the attacking shape. Now, when I was talking about the rest defense, in case we lose the ball higher up, this is what I mean. So we have a box shape here. We have Bajorkan, the left back. We have our central midfielder, the defensive player, and our 2 centre backs. They are making basically a box 4 shape. And in case we lose the ball further up the pitch, these 2 players will be the first line of defense to try and stop that counter attack, and then we have our 2 central defenders as well to rely on. But of course, it doesn't happen in this case, but you can just see the shape that I was talking about. And there was a nice goal from Pedro Porro, just a nice little dink over the goalkeeper. Here, Pedro Porro is running down the right flank. With the ball, he's going to cut inside, or try to. He doesn't make it, but he does cross it into Esposito, and he scores a nice headed goal. We can watch the Moreirense goal. It was fairly boring. I lied. It was an absolute smashing goal. It was an absolute smashing goal. There was nothing we could have done defensively about that goal, but we won the game 4-1. As you can see, this side, or the team, tries to play some attacking football. It can be entertaining that side. We do outplay teams, especially Manchester City. We completely outplay them. But that is my Twitch tactic. That's my streaming tactic. It's very intriguing. If I play some head-to-head against another Football Manager player, I'll probably look to use this tactic. So if I do come up with any opposition, this is your scouting video. If you want to see how RDF is going to play against you, make sure you watch this video. That's enough joking about. Now, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video, you can share it, leave a comment, all that good stuff that helps this channel grow. That would be appreciated. Make sure you download the One Footballing app as well if you haven't. That also helps the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you join me on Twitch. Join me. Watch the greatness. But join me over on Twitch. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe, peace out, and love.